Hi everyone, thanks for being here today. Today we're here to discuss the individual education plan for Happy Child. I'm Kathy Slater, the special education teacher. I know everyone here, I've worked with all of you. We're just going to go ahead and around and introduce ourselves, and that way we can get to know, that way everybody knows who's here. Connie Cern is Happy Child's mom, and she's here with us today. We also have Princey Powell, he's our administrator. We have Sun Shi, which is going to be our psychologist today. Friendly Educator is here from first grade. I think you know him, Connie. He's HAP's teacher, general ed teacher. And then we also have Sally Crunk. She's our speech pathologist. She's seen HAP and done an evaluation with her. And Tai T. Fugers, who is our occupational therapist and has done an evaluation with HAP. So we'll go ahead and start by just going ahead, and I passed out to everybody a copy of the IEP plan, the draft. So we'll go ahead and take that out and take a look at it. Just a little bit about HAP, just to get started. She is 6 years, 11 months. She started in Succeed Elementary when she was in kindergarten, and prior to that she was at Head Start. She has been working with some sort of supports and services since she was 18 months old. She was born with a Chiari malformation. Is that right, Connie? Yeah, Chiari malformation, which is a malformation of her skull. And she's had two corrective surgeries? Yeah, two corrective surgeries on that. She still suffers from seizures, though she has a seizure disorder also, which is medicated, and has reduced the grand mal seizures, but she still has absentee seizures, and so she'll just kind of look like she's checked out. So this has been something that has caused some of these things that we'll discuss today. This is the background to some of the things that are going on with Happy. So we'll go ahead and take a look. She's currently living with mom in Succeed, and she has a visitation schedule with dad, who lives in proximity, which isn't very far away. He couldn't make it today, but mom made it. So anyway, we can just talk about last week we did the assessment report. Went ahead and did the evaluation report and eligibility report. And through the committee, we have decided that HAP has a cognitive delay, other health impairments, and speech language impairment. And so those are all things that'll be addressed today in the IEP. So when I talked to HAP, one of the things I asked her is what kind of things that she likes to do, what are some of her strengths, and she really likes to play with baby dolls. She enjoys rocks, especially the red ones. She knows a lot about them, and to swing and to play on the swings and to climb in the play yard. Mom says she's very happy and social. She enjoys coloring. I'm sorry, what was that, Connie? Oh yeah, and the baby dolls. She loves baby dolls at home. She's always playing with a neighbor child. Um, so the school staff, her teachers, and the specials that she goes to, are saying that Hap is very social. She's a good storyteller. She is involved in dramatic play and participates in imaginative play with peers. Um, so she's got a lot of great qualities about her. So on top of that, we look at the concerns that mom has and dad has, and mom is concerned about Hap's fine motor skills. The reset in her memory from the seizures. Every time she has a seizure, she's set back just a little bit. Her academic process and progress, and random displays of aggression. And Connie, can you tell us a little bit more about that? This is something that's fairly new, and we're just starting to address this. But yeah, that's what you were saying, was they were kind of random. That she's just kind of all of a sudden hitting and pushing people that are near her. So that's something that's new that we're looking into, and we're working on. The school staff, again, is concerned about that random aggression because it doesn't seem to be really provoked. It is preventing hers and others from staying on task and meeting learning goals. So we're really looking into that. Happ's focus on specific details and short attention spans. So sometimes she gets really fixated on things, and her attention span is very short, and so it limits the amount of time that she actually spends on her academic classes. So Happ's teachers are concerned about her lack of response to intervention and growth in academic areas, and that's what brought her here to this place. So consideration for special factors, we do have that her behaviors can impede her learning and that of others. Everything else seems to be pretty good. She doesn't have any communication needs. She doesn't require assistive technology or devices, and she is not limited English proficient. So we went ahead and looked at the present levels of achievement, and currently Happ can focus for academic tasks for a minimum of 5 minutes, as documented in multiple observations in various settings, including work and non-work time during assessment. She can focus about 10 minutes on a preferred task. Happ's classmates can attend to a task for 12 to 30 minutes. Happ's short attention span takes away from her work time on academic tasks, reducing time achieving academic goals. So we want to try to expand that for her a little bit. So we've got some ideas here in place that we can try out. So first thing that we're going to do as a goal is, given an appropriate academic task, Happ will focus on the task for 12 minutes without interruptions or assistance, 8 out of 10 trials, to be documented on data chart by June 8th, 2019 is when we want to see this goal by. We've defined the appropriate academic task as something that's within Happ's zone of proximal development, something that's not too hard, something that's not too easy, but still challenging for Happ. So any questions about that one before I move on? Oh, okay, yeah, Mr. Ducator. So what would work for you as far as how often you would like to collect data on that? Do you have anything in mind as to what would function for you? So you think you could do it once daily during various tasks? That would be perfect. So if we can make sure we get a sample of how she's performing with keeping on task in different activities and not just one subject or topic, that would be great. So I will go ahead and I put a note in the draft, and we'll go ahead and update that. So short-term objectives are: student will have tasks broken into smaller chunks and model on a task strip that offers a choice activity upon completion to build skills of focus on a task. And then the second goal, and that's to be reached by the third quarter. And then the second goal will be: student will wean the aid of the task strips by breaking tasks into larger chunks with fewer visual cues. The student will work for 17 minutes without task strips or other support by June 8th, 2019. So yeah, I do have that data chart. Sorry, Mr. Ducator. Let me see here. So yeah, it's back here. It's in the back of the packet. I put a sample one up, and just giving you a sample of what it would look like for the making sure that she's on task, and it just has a list of the activities that she's doing, and then the time you started, the time you end. If you used any support tools, so if somebody sat with her or if she was using a task strip. Yeah, I have a task strip. It's just this, it's a Velcro piece of cardstock with Velcro on it, and you could stick pictures of the different tasks you're doing. So you would have something that signified writing names and then tracing lines and then tracing. So that would be the task strip, and then she could rip it off as she's done it, and then she kind of help to keep her focus there. And then just every time that she's had to, not when she's asking for help, but just when she's having to be reminded to get back on task or get back to her desk, to focus her attention on her paper, her work. So those times are when we're going to jot down when she's reminded. And then at the end, we want to look at what's the longest time that she was able to focus. And the goal is that we're going to see that number increase with the supports, and then we'll eventually be able to wean the supports. So yeah, so if we look at the second goal for that performance level, we look at give it a choice activity during non-academic times with peers. So at recess, lunch, choice activity time, and in the classroom, Happ will focus on a single activity for 20 minutes without assistance or redirection, 8 out of 10 trials. And again, that'll be tracked on a data chart like the other one. And I'm thinking that maybe 2 times a week, if we can. Do you think that would work 2 times a week, and maybe using one of the times as a free time in class that you guys are doing. And then the other one could be, it might have to be an intentional where either a para is watching or you just happen to be outside at recess and just kind of watch what she does once a week or in the lunchroom, some other non-academic time, just to see how she's doing with her peer interactions and focusing in her own time. Because as we saw, is 10 minutes is the max that we're seeing, and we'd like to see that get a little bit longer. So our short-term goals are for that. Our HAP will focus unassisted on a choice activity when joining an activity led by peers for 20 plus minutes. And then the second objective of that would be short-term objective would be HAP will focus unassisted leading or cooperatively participating with a group of peers for 20 plus minutes. And that's by June 8th, 2019. So the second present level of academic achievement and functional performance, HAP can write some letters crudely, name many letters, and knows the sounds and phonemes of some letters, and as observed in work samples and assessment results. Most first graders at Succeed Elementary can identify, write, and produce the sound of all 26 letters in the alphabet, both capital and lowercase, at the beginning of the school year. HAP's peers are beginning to use what they know about letters and sounds to combine them to create and decode words. HAP's difficulty with alphabetic knowledge will hinder her ability to produce and decode words. So we want to help HAP out by getting those skills. And so the first thing that we're going to do, our first goal for her, is given task to write the letters of the alphabet. HAP will write 95% of 26 letters in the alphabet, capital and lowercase, with legibility, using remedial curriculum in the resource room with a special education teacher. The Handwriting Without Tears curriculum will be used for instruction and documentation of the progress. And we hope to have her up to this standard by June 8th, 2019. Our short-term objective for this would be HAP will be able to make different shapes with accuracy that will make up the 26 letters of capital and lowercase letters. For example, circles, short line, long line, diagonal, right curves, left curves, big and small. And this will be done by February 2019. So we have those base skills taken care of, and then we can start building our letters from there. This is something that may be worked on also with OT, with the occupational therapist, in conjunction with the special education teacher. So the second annual goal is going to be given 26 different letters, capital and lowercase. HAP will understand the correlation between sounds and letters. She will work with remedial curriculum, zoophonics, in the resource room with a special education teacher. HAP will show proficiency of 95% of 26 basic sounds to letter correlation, to be documented in curriculum, tasks, and assessments by June 8th, 2019. HAP will identify, the short-term goals are HAP will identify which written letter belongs to a letter sound provided to her. This will help her grow her skills in building words. And then the other goal is HAP will identify which letter sound is produced when given a written letter. This will help her grow her skills in decoding words for reading. So these are going to be reading and writing goals. And these are both expected to be met by June 8th, 2019, the end of the school year. And, Miss Crunk. We hope to align that with some of the speech that's going to be going on and getting some of those phoneme sounds out with her, the sounds of the letters, and as she's working on her articulation. So she's going to help out with that too. Okay, our last present level of academic achievement and functional performance. HAP can identify numbers 1 through 9. She knows her shapes, understands mathematical concepts like most, longest, more, and less. She can accurately identify which one is greater, less than, when comparing two numbers under 9. She can rote count 1 through 10. Other first graders in Gardner School District can count to 100, write numerals through 20, count 20 objects in a group with one-to-one correspondent, understand greater, less than when comparing two numbers between 1 and 10, understand addition as putting together and subtraction as taking away, and can see a small quantity of items and know how many are there without counting. This is called subitizing. HAP's difficulties in fluency numeracy and mathematical computation will hinder her ability to succeed in daily mathematical activities. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get Happ some math skills so that she can keep moving forward. So we're going to start out with the first goal is going to be to given a small quantity of items. Happ will identify how many are in the group 8 times out of 10. Trials to be documented during daily math with a plus minus data number data chart. And that's in the back of the packet, a sample of what one of those would look like. And so we just have the numbers 1 through 10 across the top, put the date over here. And when you're working with her, if you give her 3 items and ask her how many are there, and she either does a 1-to-1 count or does a subitizing where she just tells you how many it is, then you're going to go ahead and give her a plus sign in that. And if not, then we'll give her a minus sign. And as we go, it'll help us to document what she is and isn't getting still. So the short-term objective, HAPs will be able to count a group of at least 15 objects using 1-to-1 correspondence and touch counting to help her understand number quantities documented on the plus minus chart. And she should have this goal by June 8th, 2019. The second short-term objective, HAP will be able to see a small quantity of at least 9 objects and know how many are there without counting to help her with fluency recall of number quantities documented on a plus-minus data chart by June 8th, 2019. And then our measurable annual goal for this is given 2 digits between 1 and 10, HAP will either add or subtract, determined by written signs with the use of counters successfully 8 out of 10 trials through remedial math instruction in the resource room with a special education teacher, documented through work samples. By June 8th, 2019. And the short-term objective for this is HAP will understand commutative property through fact families with 2 digits between 1 and 10, 80% of 10 trials with data collected through work samples by June 8th, 2019. So, progress reports will be done quarterly. Thank you to Mrs. Crunk for doing her speech goals, and the occupational therapist, Ty, for doing her occupational goals, and also to Sun for doing her social emotional goals for us. Thanks for going through those with us, and thanks, Connie, for being so patient. We do have a lot to go through. So our progress reports are going to be quarterly, so same time as report cards are coming out, we'll send you a progress report as to how she's doing with her IP goals. If at any point we need to readdress anything and look at it again and come up with another plan, then we can do that as it's going. This is a working document. So the least restrictive environment, we have considered everything. We've decided that the best place for her for math and reading and writing is going to be in the resource room because of the remedial instruction that she's going to need. So things that we can do for her supplementary aids and services, HAP should be given extra time to process material. She also needs extra time for assignments. She should be close to the teacher and away from distractions. She should also have visual cues, such as a visual schedule posted in the classroom, a task strip as she's doing assignments. That's the Velcro strip that I was talking about. Visual choices of this and then, and you can do this, then you can do this, or do you want to do this or this? And that'll help HAP out with some of her decision making and keeping her on task. She will need access to instruction through the resource room for remedial instruction below the academic level of the general education curriculum. HAP will be scheduled with the speech pathologist and the occupational therapist. She will have 20 minutes with each of them once a week. So statewide assessments are not an issue. She is only in first grade. In third grade, we will have to look at that. For district-wide assessments, we've asked there to be accommodations. We asked for them to release the time limit so that she can just take her time to process what she needs to and do the best she can. We didn't feel if there was any need for extended school year. She seems to be able to recover quickly and recover information quickly when she comes back to school. So there's a little bit of loss, but it recovers quickly. There's no need for reevaluation because we just did it. And then I will take the resources that I've showed you today, the task strip and also the data sheets, and give them to the teachers, and also let them know how they're to be used. So I will do that tomorrow, and at the end of this week. So by the end of this week, it'll be done. So again, thank you guys all for coming. Are there any questions? Anything you want to add to this? Everybody's feeling pretty good? Okay. Connie, because we did make a couple of changes to this, I'm going to go ahead and type it up, and then I'll have you sign it tomorrow when you drop Hap off to school. Does that work for you? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you guys for all being here. That's it.